For question 8, our problem is asking us to complete the first table so that f of x is a function. So f of x, we do want it to be a function. Complete the second table so that g of x is not a function. And we've got g of x here. So for my first table, the first thing I'm going to do is fill in an x value. I don't want any repeating x values, so really I can make this number anything that I want other than -1 and 6. Just so that it makes sense, I'm going to put a number that's in between -1 and 6 here. So for example, I'll put a 0 here. You could put any number that you wanted. And in order for something to be a function, each input has to have exactly one output. So if I come over to my y column, I need each number to be anything but -8, or I need the first number, I'll say, to be anything but -8. So if I'm thinking about drawing a line, 0 goes to -8. I'm thinking about drawing a line, I need to pick a number that's different than -8. I'll say -10. You could pick any number other than -8. Now that I'm looking down here in my x column, I need to find the output value for 6. So if I'm drawing an arrow, I don't want it to be -10. I don't want it to be -8. I'm going to pick a number, we'll say 4, because that's different than -10 and 8. You could pick any other number that's different than -10 and 8. So now each of my x values only has one output, which is amazing, and that's exactly what I need to make f of x a function. Now let's pause and look at g of x. So I need g of x to not be a function. That's what my question is asking me. So one way to make this not a function is to look at my x column. And remember, if we want something to be a function, we don't want to see any repeated x values. So if I'm trying to make something not a function, that means I need to repeat an x value. So I'm just going to go with a 6 here. So now I have 2 6s in the x column. We're working toward making this not a function. So each input needs to have one output for it to be a function. So if I have an input of 6 and an output of -8, in order to make this not a function, if I have an input of 6, I need to find a number that's different than -8. We'll say 1. So now I have 2 inputs that are the same, and I've got different outputs here, -8 and 1. So because this is the same number, but there are 2 different values going to it, it's not a function. Now I'm just going to pick another number to put in this box here. This one doesn't really matter since we already made this not a function. And that's exactly what the question is asking for. So again, because we have the same number, 6 and 6, but 1 6 goes to -8 and 1 6 goes to 1, it cannot be a function.